Welcome back to Breaking the Stigma. I'm Rob, and I'm a retired law enforcement officer from the state of New Hampshire with over 20 years of experience. Today's topic, we're going to be talking about self-isolation. Are you isolated? Is it possible to be isolated even when you are surrounded by other people, especially when surrounded by people similar to you? Like-minded groups create a nearsightedness sense of ourselves. Isolation is the number one risk for suicide. Isolation can be linked to criticism, and policing is very vulnerable to be criticized. As cops, we experience criticism at a variety of levels. For example, when we're at a party and people find out that we're cops, civilians often debate us on current news involving police, gun violence, and personal situations that they've had involving police. This often leaves us feeling angry and withdrawing from non-police activities more and more. This withdrawing or isolation can feel protective, and it can lead us to traumatic stress, substance abuse, and other health problems. When cops isolate with other cops, the amount of negativity rises, complaining about the job, the department, and the community. The key to fighting self-isolation is learning to recognize how you react to criticism and when you are withdrawing rather than engaging. There are several ways we can fight isolation. First, compassion. Before dealing with outside criticism, we must first deal with our inner critic. We must learn to treat ourselves with the same kindness we would extend to a loved one. We can practice compassion by visualizing somebody and directing compassion to them. This is called visualization, and we all have used vicarious training in the past. Number 2, orient or mindfulness. Be aware of your internal and external environments. Pay attention to what you are experiencing, what your thoughts are, what your environment is, what your emotions are, and your behaviors. Also be aware how this is getting in the way of your connectedness. Number 3, disarming. Try not to jump to conclusions, assuming the worst or labeling things as good or bad. We need these things to survive when we are working, but bringing it home is detrimental to our loved ones. We must recognize these feelings and try to minimize them when we're outside the job. Number 4, empower. Curbing isolation requires courage and willpower to intentionally connect. Forge friendships outside of law enforcement. Join a group that involves other aspects of your life. Connectiveness is extremely important and something you need to make an effort to do. We need to accept the things that we cannot change and change the things that we can. If you or anyone you know is having thoughts of suicide, please reach out for help. And remember, it's okay not to be okay.